So Harvey gets tried in New York, and our pal Arthur Aidala represented him. And I had all sorts of fun sending him texts about that. Harvey's not a good man. Harvey's not a good man. But Arthur did what he should do, which is, as a criminal defense attorney, give him the best defense possible. Didn't work out in that case. And it wasn't particularly surprising it didn't work out in that case because they did something extraordinary. They let in Harvey's, quote, prior bad acts. And we all learn in law school, you can't get in prior bad acts against a defendant. You're charged with raping 2 women. That's not great. You're going to have to deal with them, their testimony, the evidence. But I don't, as a prosecutor, get to put on 3 other women against whom crimes were never, based on whom crimes were never raised, and have them get up there and say, me too. That's not okay. That's prejudicial. But there is an exception to that rule, and the court found it applied, and they let, I think, 3 or 5 other women take the stand in the Harvey case in New York to say, me too, me too, me too. And now Arthur is arguing on appeal that was totally wrong. And Jonna, you tell me, because the appellate court said, no, it was fine, but it's going up to the New York State Court of Appeals. And in New York State, that's what we call our Supreme Court, our highest court in the land. I think he might win. I think Arthur might win on appeal.
Not only might he win, I think he should win. I mean, can't you just take a page out of the Bill Cosby playbook? Wasn't that exact argument made in his appeal, which ultimately got him released? And it does make sense because you are not supposed to bring in this kind of propensity evidence for this very reason. And the tiny exceptions, you have to prove a common scheme or plan, et cetera. And that's a fine line.
Pattern,
and maybe
pattern.
Maybe the appellate division, which is the first appellate court in New York, maybe they didn't get that, or maybe they didn't want to get it. So, kick it up and see what the highest court in the state of New York does. But Arthur is on great legal ground with those arguments, as much as, a lot of us don't want to like or root for Harvey Weinstein. I completely get it. But purely from a legal standpoint, Arthur's on good ground.
The judge on the highest court in New York who allowed this appeal is, I think, one of the most conservative justices they have and very pro-prosecution. So for that judge to say, Mr. Weinstein deserves for us to look at this is a good sign for Arthur's side. So that's why the LA trial becomes much more important, because if they reverse this conviction in New York, I mean, now you got the potential of Harvey Weinstein walking free, wheeling free, because he's supposedly in a wheelchair now. I got my doubts. So he's out in LA, and now there's another whole host of women accusing him. All right, let me get my facts. By the way, October 5th, 2017 was the date of the New York Times Weinstein article, breaking this story to begin with. That's crazy. It's like almost 5 years ago exactly, as he now starts his second trial in LA. The accusations against him span 4 decades. He's been accused net of over 90 women of sexual misconduct. I mean, we all know he's disgusting. The question is whether he was criminal. The jury selection began Monday. Opening statements will take place, we think, later this month, maybe October 24th. They think the trial will last 8 weeks. Cameras not allowed. He's facing a potential life sentence. Arrived at the hearings in a wheelchair while in a brown prison jumpsuit. Just when you think it can't get any uglier. Brown prison jumpsuit. Who wants to be in a brown? What happened to the days of the black and white? That was kind of nice, the stripes.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and if they escape, they're so identifiable. Why would we give him a nice little brown outfit?
Yeah, you got me. UPS should be mad.
Okay, he's facing there the most expansive set of accusations. 11 charges. 4 forcible rape, 4 forcible oral copulation, 1 sexual penetration by foreign object, 2 sexual battery by restraint, 5 accusers, Jane Doe's 1 through 5, though one, named Lauren Young, has outed herself and is comfortable being identified. She's a model and an actress, testified at the New York trial in 2020 as one of the others, the prior bad acts, to show a, quote, pattern of abuse. She says Weinstein trapped her in a hotel bathroom in 2013, masturbated while gripping and pinching her breast before she fled. Says in 2013 she was summoned to meet him at a bar in the lobby of the Montage Beverly Hills, a luxury hotel. She was 22. Says suddenly he said he had to prepare for an event with Quentin Tarantino and she needed to follow him to his suite at the hotel. She said he unzipped her dress, pulling it down. When she tried to leave, he said, no, we are just going to have a talk here. How am I going to know if you can act? I said, no, the whole time. She said, I was not interested. And then he started masturbating, gripping and pinching her breast, squinting at her, which is just sort of a gross detail. You can picture it as she was pushed up against the sink. At some point, she said he tried to touch her genitals. He ejaculated into a towel, then exited the bathroom. I stayed standing in shock. Now, not for nothing. I don't know Ms. Young, but I have interviewed plenty of Harvey accusers, including my friend Lauren Sivan, who worked with me at Fox, who was one of the first. She was the first to go on television, publicly accuse him with me. And her testimonial was shocking and to some extent mirrored the one I just read to you. We pulled a clip. Listen to her.
That's when he blocked the entrance or exit for me and said, well, then just stand there and be quiet. And that's when I realized, oh.
Did you know what was about to happen?
No idea. Completely shocked. And yet, what is going to happen? Like, stand up and stand there and be quiet. I had no idea what was going to happen. And it happened very quickly. And he immediately exposed himself and began pleasuring himself. And I just stood there dumbfounded.
What are you thinking in this moment?
I was so shocked. I could not believe what I was witnessing.
She told me that this is at a restaurant. This is at Cipriani in New York. He offered to give her a tour. He brought her a tour downstairs and got her in a hallway in a restaurant that wasn't fully open, as I recall, but it wasn't like a crowded hallway, but got her up against the wall. She didn't want to fool around with him. And then he basically said, just stand there, whipped it out, pleasured himself into a potted plant, Jonna. That was part of Lauren's story. And then walked away. And I remember she was saying, like, I didn't know what he was going to do. Like, it was just like, what's he going to do? And I talked to and listened to all these psychiatrists and psychologists trying to analyze his behavior at the time. And what they said was he gets off on the dirtiness of it. Like, something must have happened to him. This isn't scientific, so just go with it. But something must have happened to him with it, like his mother when he was little, or something happened where like the dirtiness of it, the naughtiness of it, the forbidden nature of it was the turn on. Like, he needs it to be gross and forbidden and deeply wrong in order to get off. So he doesn't care that he's jerking off into a potted plant in front of a television anchor. That's his thing. So I have to say, Ms. Young's testimonial rings very true. To me, she might have DNA evidence as well, Jonna.
Well, that would be a nail in the coffin, maybe, because I'm looking at the LA trial as almost deja vu all over again. Because if you remember from the New York trial, the bulk of his defense was basically not that these people are lying per se, or I don't know who they are, I've never had any contact. He's basically saying this was all consensual. All the intimate details, all the things that we did was all consensual. Sorry about that, but you can't convict me if it was consensual. And there was some, as much as I hate to admit it, there was some evidence in his favor. There were some emails that one of the accusers or the victims said, I want you to meet my mother. And this was after that he raped her. Stuff like that the jurors had to wrap their mind around. Just, pick it up and move it 3,000 miles. And I think we're going to have the same exact blueprint for the LA trial. And the reason why, we now know why they're even bothering with the LA trial and not dismissing the charges or not offering some sort of plea is because there is a chance that Harvey Weinstein wins an appeal in New York. It might take a while, it won't be tomorrow. But if he does that, then he's got to go for broke. But so he can't just sign up and plead in California for another 10 or 20 years to run whenever consecutive to this case, because he might get out. He might get out in New York, and he doesn't want to be locked up in California when that ruling comes down, if it comes down.
Samantha from Arcadia, California is raving about Genucel's transformative results. She says, I love Genucel plant stem cell therapy. I've used it all over my face, under my eyes, and it cleared up the dry flakiness and even reduced my forehead lines. Someone even asked if I had work done. Nope. Just Genucel. Thank you. Genucel has sold over 1 million products to women and to men across this country. Fine lines, forehead wrinkles, dark spots, sagging jawline, even those annoying bags and puffiness, gone without risky procedures. And with its immediate effects product, there are guaranteed results in as little as 12 hours or your money back. See the difference for yourself with over 60% off their most popular packages at Genucel.com. But it gets better. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 right now, and they will include the brand new Genucel Hyaluronic Acid Serum as a free gift. Powerful, moisturizing effects to brighten your complexion and further reduce the appearance of visible signs of aging. Plus, all orders will get free express shipping. Visit Genucel.com/MK60 to find out more. That's GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.